All right, thanks very much, Tamanna. We needed to put that in perspective, and that's exactly what you've done. We'll keep tracking developments on this. But meanwhile, we've got this Financial Times report which accuses the Adani Group of relying on foreign funding, and the sources of foreign funding have been questioned. That report says that the Adani empire relies on offshore funding. The group has hit back now, and a clarification has come in. In its hit back, they've accused the London report of politicizing the group's business. The business group has also said that its promoters have reinvested funds for growth and that the report itself is false and full of damaging insinuations. Let's get market perspective on this. Vinit Bolinjkar is head of research at Ventura Securities, and he's joining us on this edition of India Tonight. Sir, it's good to have you with us. This FT article that we are talking about is being referred to, and it has said within that article that a quarter of the FDI that flows into the Adani group of companies has come from connected shell companies through a series of small and frequent investments, like they say. And more recently, the transactions have become larger and less recurrent is also something that the article says. Through your own research, sir, how much truth did you find in that FT article? How damaging do you think this article is to Adani Group that speaks of round-tripping of funds from shell companies based in Mauritius?
So, I think it's just regurgitating unsubstantiated claims by the Financial Times article. So what we need to understand is, they are talking in taking into consideration $2.7 billion of funding, which they claim has been coming from dubious sources. So the first thing is, this refers to transactions between Adani Green and the Total Group and Adani Gas and again the Total Group. If we talk about the Adani Green transaction, it was a $2 billion transaction done directly between the promoters' foreign companies with that of Total. Now you have to understand that when you undertake a share transfer, obviously the shareholding will get, it's all dematerialized, and so it would be obviously be reported. And so, you cannot hide this. And they have already done the disclosure to that extent. Now, if you take the other deal of some $783 million, which was done again with the Total Group, some 70% of it was done by the foreign arm and 30% was done by the domestic entities of the Adani Group, right? And all this money that they have received, they have invested as growth capital in various group entities from time to time. Now, the allegation that they are doing is that these transactions are not reported. But if you were to refer to the tweet of Jukishinder Singh Robbie, he has clearly, highlighted the fact with substantiated claims with, SEBI and stock exchange filings that all these transactions are all above board. They're clear, they're transparent, and there is nothing to hide in them. Another thing that we need to look at is that, this $2.5 billion investment itself was published by the Financial Times some time back, and the same has been corroborated by Robbie in his tweets that he has put out. Also, regarding the DONE transaction, I said, they filed,
Yes.
they filed their papers to show that, they were well reported on time, accurately, and to the extent it was transparent.
Yes.
So considering all these facts, I believe that, there is a insinuation to kind of keep raking up the issue.
Yes.
But I think the damage has been done and the market is taking cognizance of these facts.
Yes.
And anything that follows will just be kind of, lower impact
Right.
of the verbose regurgitation.
Well, it does follow, this FT piece does follow on the heels of that Hindenburg report, which was damaging. What's the sense that you derive about the impact it's going to have on Adani Group stocks right now as they are poised? Some of them could be more susceptible than others in terms of its fundraising ability as well. Do you think that is going to be a point of bother for the group?
See, already the group has faced a lot of flack and they had to indulge in a lot of fighting to raise resources to bolster their personal balance sheets of the group as well as the growth capital for the group. Now, the thing is that, multiple uh, multiple impacts of this Hindenburg report have meant that growth capital, both debt and equity, is scarce and coming. So what the group has done is they've gone to, repayment of all their existing debts, honoring commitments, and giving out a signal to the market that all is well, right? But investors who have been badly bitten by the misleading reports, they are not getting ready to tread into these waters unless you have some kind of uh, concrete evidence that all is well. And from where will this come from? So I believe that the bill that has been filed in the Supreme Court, and to which extent the Supreme Court has set up a special investigation team who was supposed to wrap up their findings in about 2 months' time since then, or another 30 days from hence. I believe that that will clear the air around this group. So far, what we have seen is that insinuations without substantial claims, and this has been countered with documentary evidence provided by the group. So, I am biased to, concur with the group that what they are saying is the truth. And unless and until the insinuating camp does not come out with documentary evidence to suggest what they are saying is the truth, there will always be an aspersion, in my opinion, with regards to the motives of these reports. So having said that, what I would advise investors is that
Yes.
wait for another 30 days, right? And let the Supreme Court SIT come out with its report. And once that is out, I'm quite confident that it will be in favor of the company.
Yes.
And that is when you should venture to buy into your stocks.
Meanwhile, but meanwhile, the clarification that has come from the group has bolstered some of these stocks in terms of trade today. We've seen that happen.
Yes.
They have said they are not obscuring promoter ownership and financing. So in terms of the attempts being made by the conglomerate to control the damage, the fallout, when you hear the company say it's a competitive race to tear down the conglomerate, do you think they're doing enough to clear the air and to kind of bring back confidence in group stocks?
Actually, what I think that the international lobby is throwing darts in the blind, hoping to hit something from which then they can go further and do, get more kind of clues as to if something is really wrong. So they're just hitting in the dark, and I don't think the darts are falling off the dartboard, right? So unless and until this report comes, because it is by a body of respected individuals who will be taking data from RBI as well as the SEBI, which are very, very honorable and respectable regulatory bodies. So once this report is out, I think this will clear the mud which is slain on the group. And henceforth, investors should venture into these companies once this report is out, so that you are in the clear of everything, and the group will emerge far much more stronger. There will be a lot of international as well as domestic confidence in the group, and I think from there the group will resume its high growth trajectory.
Fair enough. We'll keep watching the situation as it develops, and it has been developing over a period of time, one report after another, and there's a lot of firefighting that's happening from the group side as well. But thanks very much for joining us with your perspective on this. Vinit Bolinjkar, it's a pleasure talking to you on India Tonight.